Surrounded on 3 sides by 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, the state of Michigan claims over 3,100 miles of shoreline. As might be expected, tourism is a major contributor to the state's economy. In fact, it is the second largest industry in the state, generating over $16.5 billion per year. In addition to miles of lakeshore and pristine wilderness, visitors to the state are offered a dazzling array of enticements. Michigan's highways and secondary roads are dotted with a myriad of tourist and roadside attractions, all competing for attention and a share of the traveler's dollar. Among its offerings, Michigan boasts not one, but 2 dinosaur parks, including one professed to be the finest example of its kind anywhere in the world. This past Memorial Day weekend, the traditional start of the tourist season, I set out on a voyage of discovery with my friend and cameraman, Dan Burns. We traveled north from Detroit, more than 250 miles to Ossining, Michigan, the home of Dinosaur Gardens Prehistorical Zoo.
My name is Frank McCord, and I am the owner and operator of Dinosaur Gardens here in Ossining, Michigan. I've been affiliated with this park for approximately 30 years and owned it for the past 5 years. In 1958, as a high school student, I started to work here, and I managed the park for Paul Nathan Domke, who was the man who created the park. And I worked for him for 2 years. I convinced my parents to buy the park in 1960. And they operated the park from 1960 to 1970. In the middle 70s, my parents sold the park to another individual, and it didn't work out. And I purchased the park in 1988 and have operated it ever since. Paul Domke decided that he would like to build a park and to create his version of what the dinosaurs look like. The dinosaurs were built with a steel superstructure which he created in one of his outbuildings in sections, and then he put those in place. He connected them with wire. He did everything by hand. Over the wire he put wire mesh, and then he began applying concrete. And it really wasn't concrete, it was a combination of concrete, bituminous aggregate, and deer hair. And he put those on with a trowel, mixed all his mixture in a mud box, because at that time he didn't have power tools and didn't believe in them anyhow. And in 1936 he completed the first one, and he worked at it day and night during the summers for 35 years. Smaller exhibits in this park he could build in a couple of months. The largest exhibit, which is the Brontosaurus that you walk into, he started in the early spring in 1949 and finished in late fall of 1951, so it took him 2 years. As I mentioned earlier, this park is over 50 years old. All the exhibits in this park are relatively maintenance-free. Only maintenance that's required is about once every 10 years. We go into the park and we take a look at certain exhibits that need to be cleaned and repainted, and we do so. As you can see in this exhibit, there's live moss growing on the back of this Titan author, and this spring we will come in and we will clean that off and we will repaint the exhibit. All of the dinosaurs in this park are built out of concrete and metal, except for this one. This particular dinosaur deteriorated because it had been there about 20 years and it was built out of cedar. So we hired Mr. Gary Etzler, who was an art teacher at Alpena High School in Lincoln, Michigan, and he came in and took this exhibit apart and took the body part and resculptured it out of a piece of green cedar, which we took out of the swamp here, and then put it back together and we rehung it. This is the only exhibit that we've ever had to do any major research or repair on. I think in terms of dinosaur parks, the most unique feature of Dinosaur Gardens is the fact that it's built in a natural area. As close as science can tell, it's built in an area where dinosaurs existed. I've been to a dinosaur park in Ann Arbor. I've been to another one in South Dakota. They're very nice. Probably they don't have as much detail as ours, but that's probably because that most of them were formed and these were all sculptured by hand. This is the last exhibit that was built by Paul Damke, and I'm most familiar with this exhibit because I helped him build it. He started this very early in the spring of 1967. We built the mastodon first in the swamp and then went up on the ledge and built the cavemen. It took us most of the summer. We finished this exhibit in early September. And this is the last one he built.
Despite the tranquil setting of the park, we were subject to grim reminders of the constant battle for survival that defined prehistoric life. Although the dinosaurs ultimately lost their battle for survival, through the ongoing efforts of Frank McCourt and others like him, our prehistoric heritage will continue to be preserved.
The biggest enjoyment I get out of running this dinosaur park is the number of young people and old people alike to get excited about the artwork in it and get excited about seeing for the first time a life-size dinosaur. In terms of the future, we would like to build one exhibit a year. We are also going to build a dinosaur theme-oriented miniature golf course, which will be off to my left along the river, and basically just to clean up the area, and we're also going to start reforesting the area. Well, I think that the biggest thing about Dinosaur Gardens is that it will get nothing but better. Hopefully, as we add more to it, we'll get more people here to see it. And if that happens, then everybody's happy and it will be a success.